Welcome back. I'm ready for another podcast. I feel like my podcasts kind of vary. Like, I'll do some close together and then some far apart, and they're not very predictable. My general plan is to just wait until I have enough stuff to talk about to fill up about half an hour, 40 minutes. So I did one relatively recently, but I've been knitting a ton. I've been shopping a ton because I went to Rhinebeck, and I just got a lot to talk about, even though I only did one not too long ago. So I got to talk about it now before the pile gets so big that I can't fit it all in one episode. So let's go. My name is Bailey. I'm the Copycat Stitch on YouTube and on Instagram. And I do fibercraft stuff. I do knitting, crocheting, sewing, increasingly sewing, which is cool. I've got a new fibercraft that I'm going to add to the mix soon. So let's get into it. I've got a few finished objects since last time. I've kind of broken from my UFO project, sort of. I think I'm going to have to pull it to a close soon, even though I haven't finished the temperature blanket. Technically, I still have to finish the Primavera sweater, but for that one, I have half a sleeve. I'm really close to being done. If you see here, I did finish my Jute Stitch throw blanket for this room. It's cute. I love it. It went pretty smoothly, even though it's kind of tedious, repetitive. It was a good one to have kind of as a fallback project for times when I didn't really want to think about my knitting. So officially I have 2 unfinished projects. One of them I can finish pretty quickly and I hope to do this week. The other one is the temperature blanket, and it's a doozy. I've put a lot of hours into it, and I think last I knew I was caught up to mid-August. And I'm pretty sure it was mid-August when I did that. I haven't done anything in like 2 months. I might call the UFO video project challenge quits without having done that one. I don't know, but I do want to wrap it up. I've got holiday knitting coming up. I'm not going to finish that temperature blanket now. I'm just not, because I know I have a whole mess of holiday knitting. I'm going to talk about that a little now, but I think I'm going to do a whole dedicated video for that because I've got a lot in my brain and a lot on paper that I plan to knit for gifts for the holidays. And I also just, it's fall. I want to knit for myself. I want, to make cozy fall things, and I want to make myself winter things, and it's knitting prime time. And I don't want to work on the temperature blanket, and I'm sick of forcing myself to. So I'm going to sideline that and probably pick it up again in midwinter, January, February, when my Christmas knits are done and I've kind of moved past all of these time-sensitive projects. So that video's to come, I think. I would like to show off all the things I did finish, because I finished a ton, and I didn't show them all here because I knew I was going to be doing one big UFO challenge wrap-up video where I wanted to show everything at once. And that one's going to be a handful because I took a ton of vlog footage for the last months, since June. I started it in June, and it's October now, so I've got months of vlog footage. And then also I want to film, finished object footage of me wearing all of the things that I finished, because there's a lot of them. So there's some work to come. It's not going to be right away, but it's coming soon. Definitely going to come out with one about the Christmas knits soon, because I have a lot of plans for those. Several sweaters, a lot of accessories, good stuff coming. But right now, I'm just going to talk about the stuff that I've cast on and finished, or that I've cast on and I'm working on, since I kind of mentally gave myself permission to lay off. Yeah, let's do finished objects first. First, let's do this one since it's Halloweenish. So I got the Jimmy Beans Fright Club that I think I showed off in the previous podcast. I'm really excited about it still, but it's not at all what I thought it was when I ordered it. I thought it was more of an Advent thing, and it was really more of just a surprise Halloween pattern. When I opened it up, there was no... It wasn't 31 days, but it also wasn't like 13 days or an easily divisible number of days, but it was a bunch of little packages that were individually wrapped. So it's really cute, and I'm glad I got it, but I didn't really know what to expect, and I didn't really know how to handle it. So instead of doing any sort of countdown, I just kind of opened everything at once. I did take footage of that. I'm probably going to do a short about it when I finish knitting these. I've knit the hat pretty quickly, and I have that here as a finished object, sort of. I didn't do a gauge swatch because I'm lazy, and I knit it per the instructions on the page, even though in my heart I thought it sounded small, and guess what? It's really small. This is post-blocking. This hat is basically for a child. I can squeeze it over my noggin, but it's really stretched. It's color work, so when it gets stretched, you kind of can't even see the pattern anymore. So I haven't decided if this is something that I think is worth redoing or if it's something that I need to just give to somebody with a small head. I don't know. I really like it. I kind of don't want to give it away, but I also don't think I'm necessarily up to frogging and reknitting the entire thing. I don't know. We'll find out. But it came with both of these yarns, and I don't know what they are. They didn't come with labels on them, but I'm sure it says on the pattern, so we'll have a look. Obviously, they're both from Jimmy Bean's wool. So I'm doing these, and I did start the mitts to go with it. So the pattern is called Bonafide Halloween Set, and it looks like the black is Cascade Heritage, which is 75-25 superwash and nylon, and the color is Vesper sock yarn in the colorway Creepin It Real, which is an 80-20 superwash nylon. So, it came with the 2 cakes. Really cute. I love it. Oops, they're attached here. Duh, because I already cast this on. So, it's the tiniest little bit of the mitt. I kind of lost momentum when I got discouraged by the hat being small. And I also, the instructions call for you to kind of like swap the main color contrast color. So the hat is meant to have the black ribbing and do the color work like this. And then the mitts are meant to have colored striped ribbing and then swap the colors for the color work. And I started that way and I really didn't like it. I don't like striped ribbing. It looks weird. It's never going to match quite perfectly for the symmetry of fingerless mitts. So I frogged back the whole thing and started it in black, and as you can see, got like 3 rows into the color work and completely stalled out. So I don't know, I'm kind of losing Halloween momentum now. We've got 10 days until Halloween, and I won't finish it in time, and I feel like I'm not going to want to work on a Halloween project after Halloween, so this might have to hibernate for 10 months or so. I don't know. Like here I am, like I've just spent all this time getting rid of all these UFOs and then just generating them already. We'll see what happens. All right, so other finished objects. I made this beanie, which kind of fits. It's a little short, but it ultimately fits, I think. This, I don't know what it's called because I chose the pattern based on the picture and the yarn requirements that it listed because I was looking for something specifically to use for this yarn that I got at the Central New York Wool Festival, Central New York Fiber Festival, I don't remember. I got these 2 skeins of these really like vibrant pastels. Can they be vibrant pastels? I don't know. They're very pretty colors. I don't know how well they come across on camera, but I picked out the mint. There was only 1 skein of the mint at the stall when I was at the Fiber Festival, so I just kind of browsed until I found something to go with it. And this, it's kind of off-white, but it's really quite yellow, and it's very lemony. The color might be called lemon. I don't know. It kind of reminds me of like lemon frosting or like lemon baked goods. And they went together. So I knew I was going to make a beanie out of it when I bought them, and I kind of started searching Ravelry based on, you know, the yarn weight and quantities that I had to choose something that would work. And I found this picture and I loved it, and I committed to it and got all ready and then went to read the pattern, and it was in Norwegian. And I was like, that's not going to stop me. Norwegian's not that dissimilar from English. I know enough about knitting. I can look at the picture, I can look at the chart and kind of skim through and understand, you know, I can tell when it says a measurement in centimeters. I can tell when the numbers there indicate the cast on or the amount of rows or whatever. So I did it, and it wasn't hard. Pretty easy to decipher if you know enough about knitting. And it was a kind of fun challenge. I did it. It only took a couple of days. I honestly cast it on because I knew I was going to be waiting in line one evening is the night before Rhinebeck. My mom came up early and we went to a show here in downtown Syracuse the night before, and I knew I was going to be waiting in line to get into that for a while. So I cast it on a couple hours before I had to go wait in line and got a bunch done. And then the next day in the car on the way to Rhinebeck, I did most of the body of the hat, including all of the color work before dawn sitting passenger in the car, which was maybe not the best idea, but it came out okay. And then I had just enough left to make the pom-pom. And I don't know, it's cute enough, but it is a touch short. It is post-blocking. It's very soft. This is delightful yarn. I'm so glad I found this. I know I haven't said what it is because I don't remember, but it's been on the screen by now, so you know what it is. Really, really nice stuff. Also for Rhinebeck, I made this sweater. I made it, I think I've shown it, maybe the progress on here, I don't know. This, we'll fold down the neck. It's just like turtleneck, nice solid sweater. This was my travel knit when we went to Florida last month because I just wanted a bunch of stockinette. I knew this was going to be more interesting towards the end because it's got these cute cables at the end of the sleeves, but the rest of it is just stockinette circular yoke, stockinette body with some ribbing at the bottom, and then you got to do stockinette all the way down the sleeves until you get to the cables. So it's mostly brainless travel knitting, which was exactly what I wanted. And because of the hurricane, because we got stuck there longer than we anticipated, because we were stuck in airports and on airplanes longer than we anticipated, I got a good deal done on this, more than I expected to. Not as much as I would have gotten done if I hadn't gotten sick on vacation, but I did already wear it. I haven't blocked it yet, but I wore it to Rhinebeck because that was my goal, was to finish it, to wear it to Rhinebeck. So I took my progress markers, or progress keepers, off of it, but I did take a little bit of video that I'll show you here of the progress that I made because I thought it just like kind of blew my mind when I looked at it after the fact that the one marker was when we left for vacation and the other marker was when we came back. And you know, as you can see, it's like most of this trunk. So that was like gratifying for me to look at how much I accomplished. Even though it was like over the course of a week, it looked like a lot and it felt like a lot, and I enjoyed that. So wore that sweater to Rhinebeck, went all the way to Rhinebeck, and got some yarn. So this is going to be a little bit out of order. I'm definitely going to show you everything I bought, but I'm very impatient. It's Friday now as I'm filming. I only went to Rhinebeck last Saturday. I only went to the New York Sheep and Wool Festival because we had already bought tickets to that show on Friday night, like I mentioned. We couldn't go to any of the events the day before. We didn't even stay overnight. We drove down early in the morning on Saturday. We went to the festival from just about open to just about close, and then we drove right back. So, since it's been 5 or 6 days now, I was really impatient. I bought some stuff that I really wanted to use and to get into, so I did. I thought about waiting to show it to you first, but instead I decided to take a little B-roll footage for me to show you right now, and I just jumped in. So this one I was so excited about. First of all, let me show you this yarn. This is from Dancing Leaf Dyeworks, which was a really fun little booth, and I did get another thing from them that I'll show. But I could not wait to use this. It was the most fall colorway I've ever seen. Whoops. And it was actually the special Rhinebeck colorway. Rhinebeck colorway that they did for the show. It's hard to see now. All I have left of the mohair is this little ball, and it's all mottled because it's wound up, so you can't see, but it's like every fall color. It was a big hank, and I was drawn to it right away. It was so pretty. I love hand-dyed mohair, so I bought it and didn't even think about it. And then when I got home and I was caking it up to use for this project, I realized it's not just mohair. It's actually mohair and a fingering weight wool that were, what is the word for that? I don't know. Like pre-hanked, they were dyed together. They were actually stranded together all the way around the loop and then dyed that way. You could tell because where the mohair was sticking to the wool, the colors were exactly the same, like it was dyed that way, which was really cool. And I was really excited about, first of all, because I actually bought 2 hanks of yarn when I thought I bought 1, and I didn't have to pair anything with the mohair to make this shawl. But as I will come to tell you, it was a nightmare to work with, just horrible. Cannot recommend that strategy, even though it seems so cool in theory to have the wool and the mohair have the same color at the same point. So it's not like when, you mix two, even if they're the same colorway, you mix them, having bought them separately, and, hold two strands together, because you'd think with this many colors mixed into the colorway, they're going to get mixed up, right? You're going to have some parts where the green and the red overlap, or the orange and the green overlap, instead of just always being the same through the whole strand. That happened anyway, because even though I was really careful when I caked it up, the tension of holding these two strands together into the cake and the tension of holding them for knitting is vastly different. And no matter what I did, I actually got about this far into the scarf once and then frogged back to the beginning to start over, because I thought I was making a mistake and it was like my own fault for not doing it correctly. And I recaked the whole thing. That's not what it was. It's just the difference in tension between caking and knitting. The mohair comes out, or how do I say it? The wool was coming out so much faster than the mohair, which meant that I had this increasingly long strand of mohair that was like moving down, but there was a point where it was yards and yards and yards that it was like at risk of getting tangled, and I would basically have to do 2 or 3 rows and then take 5 or 10 minutes to separate it and like re-strand it and try to keep it from getting tangled, which it's mohair, so that's really hard. I'm really pleased with the yarns themselves. I think they're beautiful. I think they're like really nice to work with, other than the fact that they were stranded together before I got them. That part was like really unpleasant. If it had just been, the hank of wool and the hank of mohair like twisted together into one hank, I've seen that done, when they're, the two loops that are kind of twisted together so that they're next to each other and they're technically in a hank, but they're not stranded together. That probably would have been a better way to go about it, because the idea was excellent. In execution, it was just nightmarish to work with and took me so much longer than it should have to complete this super fun shawl. It's really small right now because I haven't blocked yet, but there is a ton of stretch here. So I'm definitely going to stretch this a lot. The pattern, which is a Spanish word that I don't remember, that, can't think of it. It's this Spanish word. Something. Oh, goodness. Anyway, the pattern stipulates that you should block it aggressively and really stretch it. There is some lace work at the edge here that I think will show up much more nicely after blocking, but it was really simple. A perfect pattern for this kind of thing, because it's the kind that says, okay, after you get into this garter section, you just keep increasing until you've used half of your wool by weight, and then you start decreasing until you're out. I did have a little bit left over like I showed you, but really fun, super fall. This was just a joy, other than, the mismatched yarns problem. It was really fun to work up. I'm very pleased with the nearly finished product, and I love it. All right, let's do a couple works in progress, because I did start a couple more things I started them since I talked to you, but before I went to Rhinebeck. So I have this one, which is coming along. I'm kind of second guessing my color choices, but maybe not. There have been times in the past where I second guessed all the way up to the end when it was blocked, and then I really believed in myself, so I'm gonna keep going. But this I wanted to use up. I had also from the Central New York Fiber Festival a set of 5 mini skeins that were these really, really rich, like jewel tone blue, teal, and green. So far I only have 3 of them started in here, but I had to mix them with something else to stretch it out enough to be a whole shawl. So you can see a couple of my colors here. These are the 2 that I haven't balled up. Obviously, this is the one I'm working with now. Very rich, super gorgeous jewel tones. They are from May Apple Farm, and it's a merino nylon blend. It's really pretty. And I decided to pair it with some of this Hobbii Metallico, which That's the part that I'm questioning. I don't know. It looks so different in different lights. Sometimes I love it and sometimes I really don't. It's this metallic kind of coppery strand, and it's got this blown in fiber that in some lights looks black, in some lights looks like indigo purple, and it changes so much that sometimes I really don't love it, and sometimes I think it goes perfectly with these yarns. So it's really hard to say until I get further into it. Again, I don't remember what this pattern is called. I'm really bad about that. But some sort of wrap. The drape is lovely. It's fingering weight, so I kind of started it one day when I felt like crocheting, which is much less often than I feel like knitting, but sometimes I just need a break from all the knitting, and I usually have 3 or 4 knitting whips at a time, and then I'll start a crochet project just for a little bit of variety. This is also still a whip. I don't think I've completed any of this since we last talked about it, but my Lexington cowl is still on the needles, still coming along slowly. It's kind of just become the thing that I work on when I have to grab a project at the last minute to work on while I'm out of the house. And this is the most portable one. But linen stitch is tedious, and I'm kind of over it, so I'm moving really slowly on that one, but I'm moving. Okay, another whip. Okay, so this one is another one that's like stuff I bought at Rhinebeck that I could not wait to talk about. So this mohair I had already, and I brought with me. It's so pretty. Oh my god. This is from Magpie. Is it Magpie Fibers? Magpie? I don't know. Whatever. You know who I mean. They're pretty famous. Magpie. I got it on my road trip. I got it at Leaf Dyeworks in Washington, D.C. I got 2 hanks of it, and it's like this lace weight mohair, so it was actually a lot in a hank. I think there's 470 yards in a hank. So pretty. And I knew I wanted to make a home cardigan as a Christmas gift for someone. I made 2 home cardigans last year because I made one as a Christmas gift for my sister, and I enjoyed making it so much, and I loved the finished product so much that like the second I was done knitting Christmas gifts for other people, I turned around and knit a home cardigan for myself, which I also love. It's one of my favorite finished objects. So I wanted to make this for a friend this year, and I knew I wanted to use this Magpie mohair, so I brought a hank with me to Rhinebeck to try to choose some wool to go with it because I wasn't thrilled with any of the options that I had. And I was like, I'm gonna go yarn shopping anyway. So before I turn to the internet and try to find something or take it to the local yarn store, I'm gonna try this. So what I came up with, oh, I love this, was joyously one of the more budget options that they had at Rhinebeck, and I love it. This whole booth was just chaos. And I almost wasn't even going to go in there because, I don't know, like the way it was all set up, it was just tables and tables that on the top and underneath were just overflowing with bins of this style of hank, this like, or skein, I guess. It's not like a bullet skein, it's bigger than that. I don't remember what this shape is called. But this, you know, from a distance, it reads like acrylic. It reads like Red Heart or like budget acrylics. And I wasn't even going to look at the booth, to be honest, because there was people everywhere. It was super crowded. There was no way to rein in the chaos of all of these bins because they couldn't even try because there was people everywhere. So it was just a mess. And it didn't even look like a remarkable, interesting selection of yarn, right? Because it's all this style of hank. But I saw these. I saw a bin under one of the tables just full of this color, and I thought, I think that's it. I think I have to. So I went over and did all sorts of maneuvers with my little backpack on, like hunched over under the table to try to get to this. And I do think it's perfect. You can kind of see when they're mixed together, I think this is exactly what I was looking for. I had seen some other greens that were worsted wool that just weren't quite right. This is such a warm green. It's very yellow. And even though it's dark, it's so warm. And every other green I picked up was just too cool. It didn't fit right. And then this one was just exactly the right tone, even though it's a bit lighter. So I think it's perfect once it's knit up like this. And oh, I'm gonna knock everything all over. So this is the start of my home cardigan that I cast on last night. Oh, I just love the texture of this. Anyway, these yarns that I found, that I bought, were quite the deal in my opinion. They're not acrylic. They're not necessarily budget yarn. I mean, they're much more budget friendly than a lot of the like hand dyed and very artisanal stuff that they have at Rhinebeck. But these are from Brown Sheep Company in Mitchell, Nebraska. And it does say that it's spun and dyed there. So I don't know how small of a company it is, but I've never heard of it before. So even though it seemed based on the inventory that they had there that, you know, they're a pretty big operation, who knows? They might not be. They might just be really efficient. So it's 85% wool, 15% mohair, which is an odd blend for something like this. It's a single ply. It's nearly a roving, but it is spun pretty well. It's really nice. I'm so thrilled that I found this. It's the perfect color. These were, I believe, $4.75 a skein, which is not bad at all. I think I got 7 of them. It was like 40, less than 40 maybe. I think it was less than $40 to get enough to do this whole sweater. I'm very pleased with that find. And again, it's already underway because I'm starting to feel the pressure of you've got stuff to make for Christmas. You've got to get knitting. So I'm going to keep going. I've started with my gift knits and I'm going to keep going until either I'm scrambling on Christmas Eve to wrap up something at the very last minute, or like last year, let's hope, I finished like 5 or 6 days before Christmas and I was not scrambling, and it was lovely to have all my handmade gifts done in plenty of time and actually enjoy the holiday. So that's where I'm hoping to be this year. It seems like I'm starting late, starting on, mid-October, but I got 2 months for 4 sweaters and like a dozen accessories. It's fine. I'll get there. Anyway, it's another video. I'm going to talk about that another day. Anyhow, let's talk about the rest of the stuff that I got at Rhinebeck, because those are the only things that I've already kind of dug into, but there are some other things that I'm really excited to dig into, and I've been trying to make myself wait so I can talk about them on the podcast before I start working on them. So let's start with these, because these are the other things that I got from Dancing Leaf Dyeworks. And they're so pretty. I don't know. These are not my normal colors, but I was so drawn to this. I saw it from way across the barn. And I didn't actually see these, but I saw there was a minis set where each of the 6 or 7 minis was one of the colors in this, this colorway. This one is called, I believe, Happy Camper? Maybe? It's part of the Happy Camper line. I believe that's what it's called. It doesn't exactly say here. But this is a DK weight, I think. They had it in a couple weights, and I think nope, this is worsted weight. I ended up leaving with worsted. It's extremely soft. It's delightful. These colors are so vibrant and just, they're such a vibe together. I love color combinations. I think I've talked about this before. People buy yarn for different reasons. Some people have to buy the softest yarn once they touch it, and it's like so soft. I'm like a color person. I will buy itchy, horrible wool if it's the most beautiful colors. This is not. This is delightful, soft wool that is also the most beautiful colors. So that's absolutely where I got it. I don't know what I'll use it for yet. It's gonna have to be like the color work in a beautiful sweater because, oh, I love this. They're so pretty. Anyway. That's what I got at Dancing Leaf Dyeworks, in addition to this gorgeous fall yarn. Oh, there's so many things. All right, I got some minis. I always pick up DK weight minis when I spot them. There was a booth that had a whole bin of minis out. I think they were $1 a piece, which is really, really cheap. They're just these jewel tones. I used to belong to a subscription that would send you 5 minis every month, and at the time I subscribed for DK weight size, and I loved them. I loved getting them. They're really nice, but at some point I canceled it because I was like, I just have this giant bin of minis now that I haven't been doing anything with. And then later I thought, I kind of want to do like a blanket out of minis someday. So every time I'm at an event like this, or at a yarn store, I look for DK weight minis because, first of all, most minis are fingering, so I'm not going to be buying like all of the mini skeins in sight. But secondly, I'm like kind of building up my stash, and someday I'm going to have a lot and I'm going to be able to start this blanket idea I have. So that's why I got those. I got this project bag, which is so cute. I have the tag in here so I can tell you who it's from. From Cottontail Farm, Project Bags and Fiber Notions. It's this Christmas print. Can you even... I know I've mentioned it a little when I was doing all my Halloween shopping and decor and stuff, but like, I'm a Christmas person at heart. I'm already daily reminding myself, it's not Christmas yet. Just get through Halloween. You can't be Christmassy, but like, my heart is already starting to like warm with the glow of Christmas. Don't tell my husband, he'll mock me. But I'm feeling the Christmas spirit already. I'm trying not to. I'm trying to ignore it. But this bag just called to me because I don't even have any dedicated Christmas bags. So it's like so perfect because I'm starting my Christmas knits. Kind of wanted to put the ones I already started in here, but I was like, no, wait till after Halloween. So Christmas project bag, very cute. The only other thing that I picked up at that booth was a strawberry needle keeper. It's too cute. It's just a little wooden engraved, or probably laser engraved strawberry motif, but it's a magnetic needle keeper for me to put on the sewing desk so that I don't drop them all over the floor. Got this beautiful set. This is from Four Hearts Farm, Mainely fiber. Mainly is a pun because they are from the state of Maine. I think it came with a couple patterns in here, but I just got it because I love the color grade. They had a bunch of different ones, and I was very tempted to go for the pink one. I always want pink yarn. Half of the yarn I have is already pink or peach, so I talked myself out of it. I said, this one is just as beautiful. I love mustard and gold colors too. I love blues. Like, this will make a beautiful shawl. So I went with this one. I really like it. I think it's really, really pretty. I buy things for colors. I have a really hard time resisting like a whole set in one bag, already ready to go. Very pretty. I'm going to link all these in the description, by the way. Any of the booths that I bought from at Rhinebeck, I'm going to put their website or some whatever contact information I can find in the description because they're pretty great, right? They made me happy, so I hope that I can spread the joy. Here, these are so fun. I have no idea what to call these. And honestly, these are some of the things I've been dying to dig into the most, and I've been trying to make myself wait to finish this podcast first. But I do not know what to call these. But they're these little, like, felt needlepoint craft kits. This one is for pumpkins, and you had the option of buying just the little pattern book that they sell or the full kit. And obviously I got the full kit because I don't have like felt laying around and I don't even know what this stuff is called. But I'm very excited. I asked the woman how many pumpkins does it come with the supplies to do it. She said 7. She said there's 7 different ones, and I was all about it. So like I said, I'm almost out of Halloween steam, but I really want to try to at least start these and see how this goes. It's like a little bit of embroidery, a little bit of patchwork, felting, I don't know. Really fun. I was very drawn to this booth, and I kind of looked once and walked away and came back later in the day, and I was like, you know what, no, I'm allowed to indulge in a new craft that intrigues me. Especially for holiday things, because I really love holiday decor. So I also got a Christmas one. It's this little mat. I don't know how well you can see it, if there's a reflection, but it's just like a little centerpiece mat. It's got candy canes all around. It's very festive. It kind of goes with my Christmas aesthetic, which is Christmas hodgepodge overload with glitter. I think Christmas is camp season, and everything should be like really campy and really over the top and very sparkly and warm and fuzzy, and that's how I felt when I saw a lot of her Christmas crafts, but especially this little candy cane one. I'm rolling with it. I'm excited to try these. Oh, there's a little candle in here too. I got this candle, which is hard to see, but it's got a cable knit kind of motif print on the outside. It's very fun. I'll put it over here so it doesn't get lost. Here's our last bag. Okay. So these are specifically for a gift I got from 2 different booths. All right, let's talk about this first because this is a booth. I don't even know. I definitely tried to take cards whenever I had the opportunity. I hope this is the right one. Yeah. This is totally the same font. Okay. Persimmon Tree Farm. It was a big flashy booth and it just said half off everything, which I have a sneaking suspicion that they just boost the prices up and it's just their regular prices. But it doesn't matter because it was still relatively affordable once you took the half off. And this is some of the softest yarn I've ever touched. It is cotton. It has very little information on this ball band. It says Bunny Bum Cotton, which is an adorable name, approximately 8 ounces, approximately 370 yards. It's like a homespun style. Very soft, just delightful to hold. And like I said, I'm not a texture yarn buyer. I'm a color yarn buyer. And as a result, I don't have a lot of hand knit basics because I tend to go for these really flashy, really like rich yarns that lend themselves better to like showpieces or like, you know, creative outlets. And I don't have a lot of basics, which I should, but I don't lean towards. So I just saw these and I thought that would make a really nice fuzzy basic kind of like crop pullover. So I got 3 of them. They're so soft though. Oh my god. They're so soft. Okay. Anyway, those are fun. And at the same booth they just had one of these, but it's just black. It's prime alpaca, super fine alpaca, approximately 660 yards. It's very thin. It doesn't have much information about the weight or anything on there, but it's about a fingering weight. Super drapey, as you can see. Very soft, lovely. And I've got that with one specific thing in mind, which was for my husband for Christmas. I'm planning on making a hat and mitts set that has a lot of color work in it. Last year I made him a hat and like a beanie and fingerless mitts set that he really loves and has worn a lot, and he has made comments about how it's like the most useful thing I've ever made. So I wanted to do another set this year, but I want to step it up, do some color work. I've been getting more into color work lately. I spent the whole day at every booth trying to find the appropriate colors for the color work. And the real hitch is that I don't need that much. For a beanie and mitts, I need 3 contrast colors. And the pattern I have says that you need about 220 yards of each, which isn't a whole fingering weight. That's like half a hank. And, you know, fingering weight hand dyed, there was plenty of colors that I could have used that he would have loved. But then I would have been spending upwards of like $90 on contrast colors that I'm not even going to use half of, and I didn't love that. So I spent most of the day kind of like looking at minis, looking at any booths that had like half skeins, trying to pick stuff. I was really struggling. I did find this booth towards the end of the day, and these are sport weight, but I think it will work. I got 2 because each of these little mini guys is approximately 105 yards. So I'm going to end up with about 210, which is just around where it wanted me to be. And there's 4 of each, so worst case scenario, I can use the 4th color that I decide to cut from the color work to supplement. I don't think that'll be necessary, but I got 2 of them, and they were much more affordable than most of the mini sets I had seen all day. I think the colors are perfect for what will look good with high contrast with the black, but still be colors that he likes and will enjoy. Alright, I think I got it all. Am I talking too fast? I've probably been talking really fast, but I feel like there's this like giant mountain of stuff in front of me that I have to talk about to get through it. I also have a couple other things that I'm not planning on showing today. I have a big box of yarn from Knit Picks because I purchased yarns specifically for Christmas gifts. Gonna do that in a separate video, like I said, because first of all, I know some people that I'm making gifts for probably watch this, and I'm gonna skip over it for now. And I also bought stuff to make Halloween costumes for myself and my husband. Like, are we going anywhere for Halloween? No. Is there any reason to get dressed up on Halloween? No. But have I been thinking about making this costume for several years? and just couldn't hold back when I realized I actually have the time and resources to do it this year. No, I couldn't. I need to do it. It's perfect. So I bought the supplies to make us Halloween costumes that are absolutely unnecessary. But, you know, the heart wants what it wants. So I'll probably do a video about that too. So, alright, so I've got a lot of work to do. I've got a lot of videos to make and knits to knit and organization to do, because now I've got a pile of whips and yarn at my feet. But thanks for hanging out with me. Check out all of the shops that I bought things from or have linked in the description, because they're really great. I mean, like, I decided to support them because I really love their products, but I think that if you couldn't make it to Rhinebeck, at least you can check them out after the fact and have a look online. So I hope to see you next time when I've got more of these whips, finished objects, and probably new whips in the works, and hopefully have sorted some of this yarn out into a more, you know, organized yarn room, because my yarn room is turning into just chaos. Either way, I hope to see you then. I had fun today. I hope you had fun with me, and can't wait to see you in the future.